Welcome to the lesson, What Skills Do Scientists Use?, where you'll explore how you already use many of the same skills as scientists every day. You should already know that learning comes from using your 5 senses to make observations, that you can use scientific tools like magnifiers and thermometers to get data, and that you can answer questions by performing experiments. The vocabulary word for this lesson is inference. Click the word to find out more about it. How do you decide what to wear in the morning? That may not sound like a scientific question, but you answer it every morning using many of the same skills as scientists. Let's see how. A scientist uses inquiry skills such as observation, inference, communication, and comparison when looking for the answer to a scientific question. You use these same skills every day. Click each image to see how. When you observe, you use your 5 senses to see what's happening. When it comes to deciding what to wear, you might look out the window to check if it's sunny or raining. You might hear the wind blowing, or your sense of touch could tell whether it is warm or cold. Infer means to draw a conclusion based on observation. If you observed a lot of dark gray clouds when you looked out the window, you can infer that there's a good chance of rain and dress accordingly. Scientists communicate their observations and inferences, explaining how they reach their conclusions. You might communicate to your parents that you're wearing a raincoat because you've come to the conclusion that it's likely to rain. You need to compare your results to other results to see if your conclusion is correct. You might compare your decision to wear a raincoat with a decision you made another day to wear a sweater under the raincoat. Which was the better choice? Performing an experiment is another way to answer a question. Click the clips to see how an experiment can be conducted to answer the question, which objects will float? A hypothesis is what you think will happen. You make a hypothesis about which objects you think will float, and then your hypothesis guides the experiment. Now you need a plan to test your hypothesis. What materials do you need to get together? What are the steps of your experiment? Scientists test their results by doing the experiment again, but this time they change something. The thing that changes is a variable. You might change one of the objects you are using, or change the amount or type of liquid. There are also some variables that don't change. Finally, you must draw a conclusion about whether your hypothesis was correct. Did the objects you thought would float really float? If not, you'll need to refine your hypothesis and try again. Have you ever planned a party? There are a lot of questions that need to be answered, and just like a scientist, you can use inquiry skills to get the answers. Let's look at the science of party planning. Click each image to learn more. Using time and space relationships answers the questions when and where. What's the best date to have the party? Will the location be big enough for everyone? You can use classification and ordering skills to break down the different party tasks. What decorations do you need? What food do you want to serve? What games will you play? Working out the numbers is critical to the party's success. You need to make sure that you have enough drinks and goodie bags. If you're planning to make a cake with frosting, you'll need to use measuring and gathering data skills. How can you keep track of who's coming to the party? Recording this data and displaying it on a list or chart will allow you to interpret how many people to plan for. Here are some inquiry skills that scientists use. See if you can match the skill to its definition. Drag the skill to its definition. Good job! Remember, these are skills that can be used for many different things. We will not be able to use inquiry skills until we become scientists. Is this true? Click true or false. That's it. You don't have to wait until you're a scientist. You can and do use inquiry skills every day. You've learned a lot about the skills that scientists use. Let's have a quick reminder of the main points before we finish. We use inquiry skills every day. These skills include observation, inference, communication, and comparison. Other skills are time and space relationships, classifying and ordering, using numbers, measuring, and recording and displaying data. Now that you've finished this lesson, if you wish, you can go back and review any part of the lesson again.